recording in a There we go. All right. So we're waiting for people to get to
File
find
in.
us. File in on Facebook if you're watching on YouTube later. Hello. Hello. So, um, I'm probably not going to talk about this like officially, but Amanda, you can put this in tea time if you want. I read this little gem over the weekend. This is a Harper book. It's Echo. And this author wrote one that Gabe talked about. I can't pronounce how it's Cochette C
Oshetsky?
no Chouette.
Chouette.
How did you say that?
Chouette?
Chouette.
Oh, Chouette. Okay. I don't know. I'm not even going to try. Anyways, but that book was a little gem of a strange book. This is so good. If you like a different story, it's a girl story who tells a story of when her do you know this one, Amanda?
I don't. I just wanted to mention the reason I know the word chouette is
Yeah.
because it's a French word you can use to mean cool, but it also means owl.
Yes.
So
Well, and
that's
that's the cover of the other book is an owl because the baby is an owl in the other book. So that's yeah. So that's what that is. But this one, the narrator's friend dies when both her and the narrator are 4 years old. So, and she's telling the story of what happened. And poor deer is a deer that is like this fantastical character that is talking to her through her life. And as she's telling the story, you don't know if she's telling the truth or not as you're going through the story. So it's if you like unique books, and it's short. I mean, I read this in like a sitting and a half. I guess if you can call a sitting and a half. That would be 2 sittings. Anyways, it was so good, so well written, and loved everything about it. So if you're in for the mood for something a little different, that's one for you. Okay, so it is gonna go Julia and Andrea. So we'll just get right into it because I think there's lots of books to talk about today. So Julia, you want to start us off?
I do. I have a big one to start us
Uh-oh.
off.
No, can't wait.
Oh wait, I of course have now messed this up, but I do have a big one to start us off. It is someone you know and love. It is Malcolm Gladwell, and his new book is Revenge of the Tipping Point.
Wow.
So, kind of a funny story. So, Warwick's has signed copies of Revenge of the Tipping Point. We didn't have a ton, so just FYI for if anyone needs a signed copy, go now because there's not a ton of signed copies out there. But this was a big anniversary, the 25th anniversary of the original Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, and which that makes I think all of us feel a bit old, and and they, the publisher went to Malcolm and said, "Hey, will you write a new intro? Maybe change anything that needs to be changed in the book. Kind of overhaul." And we'll put out a new edition in 25th anniversary edition. And he went to do that and then ended up writing a whole new book. So
Of course
this
he did.
is, yeah, so of course. So this is actually what I think is really interesting about this book is the basic premise is like so now we're in a time, sort of 25 years ago when the Tipping Point came out, there were less points that had been tipped. And now we're in a time where a lot of the points have been tipped and what happens when tipping points get reached, and what happens when things tip. And so it's a very interesting book in that way. I think a great follow up. It's funny. I worked when I was at Book Soup. I did some events with Malcolm, and I had forgotten this, but he came and talked to us at our sales conference, and I was like, "Oh, right, he is awesome to listen to. Like he is so fun to listen to speak. He's so interesting and has such an interesting point of view." So, Revenge of the Tipping Point is out today. I think this one's going to be a doozy. He's got a big following, but I think even if maybe some of his previous books that have recently come out were sort of had moved away from the tipping point stuff that people loved so much. I think this one has like gone right back to it. So
And that's what really made him, and that's what made, his following. So he's back to that. And super interesting. Didn't even think about what happens when you hit the tipping point. So
yeah,
that's
1 point tip.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and we have hit quite a few of them, like you said.
Yeah.
Super interesting. So,
Yeah.
and this is one of those that, like I said, this is an easy stocking stuffer for anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it for stocking stuffer or for yourself or for
right.
your, you might know someone who loves Malcolm Gladwell or loves this kind of stuff, and it's a
Because
good
every
one.
time he does like sometimes he'll be on like CBS Sunday Morning, or anytime he's on any of that kind of stuff, it's like, oh yeah, gotta listen
I
in,
know.
everybody. All right, thanks, Julia. Okay, Andrea, what do you got for us today?
I would like to talk about this Grove Press title from Betsy Lerner. It's called Shred Sisters. Look at that
What
great,
a great cover.
fantastic cover. And
Yeah.
the innards are quite lovely as well. So Betsy Lerner is a celebrated nonfiction writer. She wrote The Bridge Ladies, so you might remember that title. And this is her debut novel. It's wry, extremely what's the word, riveting, I would say. And this novel is about family dynamics, um mental illness, and especially the hard-worn path that two sisters take over the course of their lives. And it's just really beautifully written. Elizabeth Schmitz, a celebrated editor, who brought us Cold Mountain, among other delights.
She's amazing.
Yeah, so she's got a great eye. She's the executive editor at Grove. And so she acquired this book, and we're excited about that. It's already been blurbed by a lot of people, including Patti Smith, Alice Elliott Dark, Bill Clegg, Cynthia Dupree Sweeney. Just tons of people are in love with this book. Patti Smith says, "I love this book. It moves like a souped up pickup truck." That's so great. And excuse me, here's another one, a good one. Cynthia Dupree Sweeney, author of Good Company, says Betsy Lerner has created a richly layered family novel that manages to be raucously funny, insightful, and tender, often on the same page. I'm not sure how she did it, but I gleefully went along for the ride and was bereft when it was over. I will be thinking about the Shred Sisters for a long time. Also, I just want to tell you a little bit about Lerner's path trajectory here. She's also been in publishing for 30 years. She was an editor of such luminous and best-selling titles as Prozac, Nation, and like what else did she write? Autobiography, or not, she edited, I'm sorry, Autobiography of a Face. I mean, she's just really, I mean, she was a literary agent for Neil deGrasse Tyson, Temple Grandin. I mean, she's done everything in the industry, and she finally got around to writing her novel. So we're pretty excited about that. And really, the dynamic between the sisters reminds me of Miriam Too's All My Puny Sorrows. Definitely along those lines. So if you're into gritty and idiosyncratic characters, this is the one for you.
I love it. I love that cover. I mean, you can already see that one's a little prickly and one's a little flower just by that cover.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yep.
Oh, can't wait for that one. Okay, Julia, before you go to your next one, Dee's on here. And this is a really interesting thing because I have a feel, I think I know the answer, but maybe I don't. So she has a few younger people that she's buying for her Christmas list, and she's with that haven't read The Tipping Point. So can you read Revenge of the Tipping Point without, and I think you probably maybe can because we are 10 years later, right?
25. Yeah.
Excuse me, 25.
Yeah, you can definitely. I mean, I think it's actually maybe even more pertinent to read Revenge of the Tipping Point because um I think in some ways, I think some of the ideas of the tipping point have sort of become such like a part of not to sound like an English professor, but the cultural lexicon. We talk about 10,000 hours, we talk about these things all the time of like, that were brought up in the original tipping point. And so I think Revenge of the Tipping Point is much more about sort of bigger societal things, tipping.
Right.
And so yeah, you don't have to have read the tipping point. I mean, you can, but
You can. But I also think that it's one of those things like 25 years ago was a different world. And so I think that while it's still a lot of relevant things, I think that the Revenge probably addresses that in a way that you don't have to read the original book.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. Hope that helps, Steve. Okay.
Yeah.
What's next, Julia?
Okay, my next one is by this is a middle grade. I know I don't bring a lot of middle grade here, but I think it is exciting for adults and children alike. This is called The Millicent Quib of Etiquette.
Can we just have a little love fest on Kate McKinnon for a minute?
Yes, of course. This is by Kate McKinnon, the one and only Weird Barbie herself. It's called The Millicent Quib School of Etiquette for Young Ladies of Mad Science. And this is everything you want from Kate McKinnon writing a book about young ladies of mad science. It is quirky, it is weird, it is fun. I think it is a middle grade story, but I gotta tell you, I read this on a plane ride to New York when I was going for sales conference, and I was that person like cracking up on the plane very loudly, and like feeling embarrassed about it. It's awesome. Kate McKinnon is a delight. She came and spoke to us at our sales conference and was just so delightful. She is so funny. She's so excited about the book. It's the first of a trilogy that she's writing. If Hollywood does not cast her as the Millicent Quib, they don't know what they're doing. So I just think this is a great one. Warwick's has signed copies. So there's copies signed by Kate McKinnon. So even if maybe you have an adult, and you can see there's like these great little illustrations throughout. It's just a lovely, lovely book. It's so much fun. The way it's designed too, it's got the deckled edges, so it's kind of like this really nice, it's got great end sheets. It's a very nice package. So one that I think is a great gift and a great fun time.
I love it, and I love her, and I think that it's, not that it's the same as like Harriet the Spy, but I kind of get that same sort of vibe from it.
I think it's definitely for like, listen, I say this with the utmost respect and awe because I myself was a very weird kid, but it's for the weird kids, like it's just like, it is a little bit strange and odd.
Yeah,
it's about like these young mad scientists, so they're doing all sorts of crazy experiments and fun stuff, and it's just a delight from beginning to end.
Love it.
Yeah,
love everything about that.
So
all right, okay, Andrea, what do you have next?
That sounds really good. This is from Dzanc Books. And they are a small literary press that runs several contests, like poetry contests and short story contests and novel contests, and really does a great job of bringing talent from the academic world, like people that get their MFAs at the Iowa, workshop, that sort of thing, brings attention to these young writers. This is a debut novel from Afabwahe Kurian, and this is set in the world of 1970s Nigeria, just on the border just after the revolution, and so kind of in the backdrop, it's like it hinges right at the backdrop of um, the teetering colonial world that's on its way out, um, and um, and the dependency of that world, and then the blossoming of self-rule. And it follows the story of three young women, all from different backgrounds, who are, thrust into this brave new world. It's set in a small town. Um, Two have been out and about. One is a translator, who wants to go abroad, and again, and make her mark, but finds herself embroiled with an American reverend who has, dare I say it, retrograde ideas, especially about women's place in society. A young woman doctor who was trained in Ireland, who's come back to this small town, and is trying to get control of the clinic to modernize it. And then a woman, what they call a house girl, who really hasn't even left her home, but is really rebelling against the strictures of domesticity, while also trying to hide the identity of her lover who has gotten her pregnant. So there's a lot going on. And so these women find strength within each other, also have, some differences of opinion. There's conflict, but it's so beautifully written, and the stories are great. And if anybody is interested, obviously Nigerian literature and Nigerian American literature is huge right now. But if anybody wants to go back into the past a little bit, to write at this, like that nascent moment in the early 1970s, when everything was, up for grabs really in Nigeria, this is a good place to start for you with this great debut novel, Before the Mango Ripens. $27, or sorry, $27.95, hardcover. And that was out last week, so it's in stores.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds fascinating.
Yeah, getting some great reviews. So,
And that's one of those books I think that will hit and like people discover, like a Warwick's,
yeah.
Love it. Okay, I'm glad to hear on here Dee and Beth have had a crazy week, and they both have said we are their respite to be here and talking about books and like a little bit of calm in their week. So we love that we provide that for you guys. Always fun to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Julia, what's your next one?
Okay, my next one is possibly my favorite children's picture book of the season. I don't also bring a lot of these, but this one is too good to not share. So this one is called All the Books.
Oh,
And it is so cute. If you have a kid to buy for, if you have a kid to read to in your life, sometimes I like to take these to my friends' houses and read books to their kids. All the Books is just so delightful. It's this little chipmunk girl. She loves books. I'll show you some of the interiors. She loves books. She loves how stories take her away to different worlds. And she reads everywhere she goes, but she hates sharing her books, and she does not want to share. She carts them around in her little wagon. And then one day, as you can see, the worst day ever, her wagon spills over. It's raining. Her books get wet. And what she discovers is there's a place where you can borrow books, and maybe actually sharing books is great because then you can talk about them with other people. And so she ends up at the library. That's just gorgeous. And you can see there's these great little Easter eggs for kids who love reading classic literature. This is the mole from The Wind in the Willows. This is oh God, I always forget her name. I always want to say Jemima Puddle Duck, but It's
I can't
like
remember either.
the goose that Mother Goose.
Oh,
It's little bookworm. Like it's just a great sort of experience for kids to think about reading and to think about books and what they offer. It's a sweet story. It's a really fun story. And I just can't say enough great things about all the books. I just think it's a lovely gift.
well, and also it covers one of the things, especially for little kids, they don't like to share.
They do not.
And so that's like a really theme of everything. And so what a great way to bring that all together in the library and stuff. So cute. I love the
I know.
illustrations.
Right.
Super cute. Okay, Andrea, we're just blowing through it today, everybody.
No, okay, hold on. Well, it's going to take me some time now to share. I got okay, sorry. I got
That's
kicked.
all right.
All right. For something completely different is Recognizing the Stranger on Palestine and Narrative by the brilliant and lovely Isabella Hamad. She wrote her debut
Oh,
of
the
Sunday.
Parisian was really good.
The Parisian, yes, amazing. And then Enter Ghost, which I have talked about Enter Ghost here several months back. And this was basically, I mean, she's won awards and everything, and I think that she this is only going to raise her profile. But this is an essay that's a basically an adaptation of a speech that's that was on the Palestinian struggle and the power of narrative that was first presented as the Edward W. Said Memorial Lecture at Columbia University on September 28th, 2023. That's like 9 days before the tragic and horrific events of October 7th last year in Israel. And it's just it's a powerful, erudite, and accessible introduction to the longstanding history of the Israeli and Israel-Palestine conflict. And then there's an afterword that actually takes up, probably more of the page count here, by 20 pages, where Hamad talks about her changing views on the Palestinian conflict. She's she's British and Palestinian by birth, and she's lived in London, but she's also spent time in her in the Palestinian areas in Israel, and she's really had a she's come to like a place of reckoning about everything, and she often thought that narrative and words and the beauty of that would suffice. And she was also a strong adherent to the notions of humanism and how that would get us through. And obviously, everything that's happened, in the last year is going to throw people for a loop, especially people, folks that have loved ones who've died or know people whose friends have died in this conflict. And it's just an amazingly affecting discussion of the conflict, but the power of narrative and writing as well. And I can't, okay, I can't even explain how beautiful and moving this is, but Sally Rooney, author of The Beautiful World, among other books, says it pretty well. Recognizing the Stranger combines intellectual brilliance with moral clarity and profound resoluteness of purpose. This is a book that calls us to witness our place in history. Isabella Hamad deserves our thanks for sharing it with the world. And that's actually a great explanation of what this book is at its heart. I just I just it's just such a engaging and persuasive reading experience here. I've been blown away. I went back and read it again, and I just think that this is a, you know, a long essay of the highest order, and a very important document. And I think that it will be one of those books that people turn to for years to come.
Yeah, it sounds like an important book. How many? You said it's an essay. How many pages is it? Do you know?
Yeah, let me just pull that up. It is 96 pages. It's
Okay.
$18 paperback. So, and it's the first part is her speech, and then she discusses like how her views have changed a bit. Um, and she's an amazing person. I've had the chance to um meet with her a few times. I took her around the tour for the Parisian and paperback in Arizona. I met her before the Parisian was out with booksellers in the Bay Area during sales conference meetings, and just an amazing person. And I think that the world just is not going to get enough of Isabella Hamad, and I just think that there's going to be a major award down the line for this woman. She's an amazing writer.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you for bringing that to us for sure. Okay. Okay, Kim. Yes, next week she's halfway through Bee Sting, everybody. And so she says we're going to talk next week. So my book club picked this old classic Wilbur Smith tome 7. I think we're meeting like October 15th or something. I have some work to do. I have to see if I can get that done. Kim just finished Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klum, who we love, and The House on the Carillion Sea. Yeah, he's amazing. He's that is that your book, Julia? Is TJ Klum here? No, is he
I think he's
McMillan?
PRH.
Oh, is he PRH? Okay. Not sure which one he is. Okay. All right, everybody.
I wish I got to sell TJ Klum.
Oh no, it's good. We are in the thick of the fall, and it is all going to come fast and heavy here. So, couple things. If you're online and you're a Patricia Cornwell fan, we got her and Dan Aykroyd next week from Thursday. So, that'll be fun. That's a free event. So if you want to sign up, watching those two have a conversation, I think is going to be super fun. And we've got lots of other things going on. So if you're not on our email list, get on that so you can see what's happening. And if you get on our email list too, you get this recap every Tuesday of what what our wonderful reps have talked about. So that comes in an email to you every Tuesday. So nice way to recap this.
Yeah, it's a nice reference just in case you missed too.
Exactly.
Or you're like, what was that book title again? And
yeah. And it's a great way, even if you can't watch the replay, it's a great, easy way to do that. Amanda, what do you want to say?
Well, I was surprised you didn't mention who Patricia Cornwell is going to be in conversation with.
I did. I said Dan Aykroyd.
Did you? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I wanted to hear that more.
I said it. I might have said it too. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But
please.
With the Dan Aykroyd, and I love the picture that we use with her and him on front of a car. I love is it a cop car? Like Ghostbusters car? Those two are too much. I think I know, but I still want to hear again how those two even ended up being friends. I mean,
right.
That's like got to be the story in itself.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like a strange pairing, but then again, there's Snoop Dogg and Martha.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, everybody. Amanda, just tell us, what did you read? Did you read anything this weekend?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
I am starting. This is a book by the author of Case Study, which was a really great Biblioasis book. This comes out in November, and it's a small town in France, and there's a murder. But it also feels very Nabokovian, so it's good so far. Just started it.
Love it.
Yeah, The Case of Matricide.
Did that guy write some like books on like fairies or back in the day or maybe werewolves? That name looks very familiar.
Oh, I don't know if that's the same.
Yeah, not
Hmm.
sure. But
I love both fairies. In fact, I just told Ellery to read some kind of fairy tale by, is it Graham Greene? No, Graham.
Oh, maybe that's who y'all are thinking of.
no, no.
Oh,
But it, it was a long time ago.
okay,
So
we'll do some research and report back next week.
yes.
I do want to also mention, like Julia said, if you need a copy of this for the holidays, get it now. It's so, so beautiful. Just full of awesome information and beautiful imagery, and just get all the Atlas Obscura.
Just
Just get
get
them
them
all.
all. Just get
Yeah,
them
gotta
all.
catch them all.
Yeah,
Gotta catch them all.
I know. And it's the stock is questionable on that one. So get it early if you're gonna get it for someone.
Yeah.
It's October Eve, so I'd
Yeah.
say we're firmly
Yeah,
in
I mean
holiday territory.
I hate to like it's so funny. My mom calls me usually in August and is like, I've started my Christmas shopping. But I know most people are not totally crazy like her. But that's one that I'll tell you if buy it early.
I know. My sister used to do that too. It's like because she had kids. Graham Joyce, that's it. Graham Joyce is some kind of fairy tale. So good. Um, but my sister, like we had kind of just our lives were a little bit different. She had kids young, I had kids later. So she would like in July, oh, I'm done with my Christmas shopping. And I'd be like slowly, like with the middle finger, like, oh my God, I can't even talk to you right now. Just
I
like go
know.
away.
I just
If
have
I
a
get
big
everything wrapped by Christmas Eve, it's a good thing.
yeah. I mean, in my mother's defense, I have a very big family. She has a lot of Christmas gifts to buy for people. So
I love it. All right. All right, everybody. Happy reading. Have a good week. I got lots of reading that I got to get done too. So, be sticking my nose in some. I'm on that golden poppy thing, so I'm reading things that are actually out now, which so that's kind of fun to do because usually I'm reading so far ahead that I can't even talk about stuff. So that's kind of a fun thing. All right, everybody, have a good week. Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Andrea. Okay.